Let's go. Let's go with the Noella. We'll stick with that.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 21 years old.
All right, 21 years old. What are we talking about tonight? Do you know what we're discussing?
Yes. Age gap in dating and younger wives.
All right. Quick question. Have you ever been in a relationship?
Yes, I have.
Are you still in that relationship?
Yes, I have. I've been in a relationship.
I'm going to repeat. Are you still in that relationship?
Oh. No, 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 I'm not.
All right, at the age of 21. Is it, how many would you say you have? One, two, three, four, what?
One.
Well, you're lying right there because you have to think about it. If it was just one, you would have just said one.
One.
Why, if it's just one,
I'll
why
say
would you have to
one.
take time? Why would you have to take time to think about one?
Because I have to check.
So it was just one, and you have to go back into memory to think about the one. Normally, when you got to stop and think, it's because it's plural, meaning more than one relationship.
Yeah,
Well, we already know it's
I
more than
had to
one.
check
So,
because it's not everything you call a relationship.
all right. Anything that wasn't a one night stand. Let's go there.
Okay.
You there?
No, it wasn't.
So, are we still sticking with the one relationship,
Did you hear me?
and everything else was
I'm
just
here.
what?
I'm here. I said it wasn't. It's only one night stand.
All right. So, one relationship. How many guys in total? Just being with.
Yes, one relationship.
So you don't want to answer that because you said not every. See, I quote what you said. You said not everything is a relationship.
Three.
Mm, there you go. All right. Are you interested in being married one day?
Yes.
Kind of married? What kind of what kind of what? Let me
Yes.
actually, let me say it better. How do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Can you hear me?
In the next. In the next what?
How
How
do
many
you see
years?
yourself in the next 10 years? 10 years from now, you're going to be what?
10
Your life is
years.
going to look like what?
Oh. Mm, I'll be married with children and I would have my dream life, like job and everything. I'd like to be traveling around freely. I like
Let me make
traveling,
one
so
thing. Let me make one thing clear. There's no such thing as anybody having their dream life. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. We have things that we seek to accomplish, and through those accomplishments, the more important they are to you, the more difficult they are to gain. But you're 21, so I'm gonna let that fly out the window. At 21 years old, you had one serious relationship. How long did that relationship last?
6 months.
How old was he? Hello.
Ended sadly. It wasn't
I
nice.
said, I said, how old was he?
Oh, he was 24.
And you
I
were
was
how old?
19.
19 and
19.
24. All right.
Yeah.
1924. Didn't last. Lasted for 6 months. Oh. Do you see yourself being in a relationship anytime soon?
Yeah.
For what purpose? For what outcome?
Let's say marriage.
And when you say marriage, are we talking about the average Joe or low class, middle class, high class? What are we talking about?
High class.
High class. The man you dated, was he high class or was he low class?
He was high class.
What did he do for a living?
Both of us were students. So I don't know.
So how the hell could he be high class if he was a student?
I don't know.
Tell me.
I thought of him highly. I don't know, but
So you thought of him highly. So you thought that made him high class. Can't make this up, people. Can't make this up. I don't care if you thought the stars about him. I don't care if you put him on the same level as whatever God you serve. That doesn't make him high class in society. So basically, if he was a student like you, he didn't have any income or any real income.
yeah.
So
Yes.
he was low class.
Okay.
Class class is determined by your earning power.
Okay.
If you look at someone, let's see, no, no disrespect to my bikers and Legos, because you guys get me around from A to B. But I'm just using this as an example. You know how when we're not going to travel by Trotro or taxi. We're going to take a bike, right,
Yes.
to get us to A and B a little quicker and get between areas that we can't get through in other vehicles. Correct?
Yeah.
Now those guys, you could pick one out of any of them, and he might be a nice guy who people think of highly. But does what he do for a living make him high class because people look at him with respect?
Okay. No.
Would he be considered low class?
Yes. You will be
There
considered.
you go. So now we're getting somewhere. That's where understanding has to come in.
Yeah,
So
but I just did not want to use the term like that for him. That's why. I understood what you meant.
we're not talking about the individual. We're talking about the earning. They're
Okay.
earning. Like you say,
Okay.
middle class America, middle class Nigeria, middle class Ghana. Say middle class, that means people, the average person with a house and a car and a 9 to 5 job, making decent money. High class is people who are
Yeah.
earning in the 6 and 7 figures, who have money to travel and do whatever. Low class is normally people who don't have the ability to do any of those things because they don't have the
Yeah.
earning power. You with me?
Okay.
Doesn't
Yes, I
mean they don't
am.
have the. It doesn't mean they don't have the potential. Lots of people have the potential to go from A to B and B to C. The problem is this, and this goes along with what we're about to get into. You see, it's not often that you see a 24-year-old male of any caliber, of any background, race, nationality, or whatever. I don't care what country you're in. You're not likely to find a 24-year-old who's at the top of their earning power. Do you understand that?
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right. Knowing that, you got with a 24-year-old when you was 19. What did you expect to come out of that? Did you go into that thinking about marriage?
Mm, I didn't go into it thinking about marriage, but when I was in it, I wanted us to get married.
And what happened? Why didn't you?
It was just not working.
Why wasn't it?
I don't know. Like I needed a lot, and it was not possible.
You needed a lot, as in how? Explain to me. I
Like
want to be in the know.
attention and all. Attention.
Attention. And so all you needed was attention. You telling me that? That's what you're telling
Yeah.
me. All you needed
Yeah.
was attention. All right.
Yes.
Who broke it off? You or him?
I did.
So you broke it off because what does he do? Is he still a student as of today?
I don't think so.
Do you know what he's doing today?
Nah, I'm not talking to him anymore.
So he's what, about 26, 27 years old now?
No, 26.
26. All right. I'm trying to like learn you in the short time that I have. I'm not
Okay.
getting as much, but because there's only one relationship there, and it really went nowhere in a matter of 6 months. You're sitting here, you're saying that you want to be married at some point in life. You want to have kids, you want to have a house, and you want to have your job.
Yes.
You do understand that your ability to get a certain class of men is determined by a lot of factors, right?
Yes.
Name three main factors that determines the type of man you're able to get, you're qualified for. Just give me three.
The degree you have, um, your looks, beauty, and your attitude, your character.
You said your degree. You gave me your first one as your degree, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You gave me the second one as looks, and you gave me his character. Were you raised
Yeah.
by who was you? Were you raised by your mother and your father,
Yeah. My parents, both of them.
and they're still together?
Yes, they are.
Do you think you were raised to be a wife?
Yes, I was.
Do you really believe that?
Yes.
You were raised to be a wife, but yet you think your degree determines the type of man that you qualify for, that you desire. If you were raised to be a wife, why would a degree even be in your mouth? Why would that even come out? A degree.
Well, um, I was in a conversation with somebody recently, and he was talking about how he would not go for somebody that is not educated.
And let me
You
guess, he was
get
a low earner.
low earner? No, he's not.
So you're telling me a high earning individual. What does he do for a living?
He did computer science, so he makes websites, something like that.
So he does this. So basically, he doesn't work for anybody. He just
Yes,
get
yes,
odd. He get odd jobs to go and make a website or two.
yes.
Well, there's not a lot of money in that these days. You know that, right?
No, I don't.
Well, most websites you could do on your own. It takes about 2, 3 minutes because the software that is used today, you don't have to know anything but put in a few texts, and the computer itself does everything for you. There's no money in creating websites for anybody unless you're doing a corporate website for large corporations. There's no money in that.
Okay.
But you're saying that he's high earning. Have you dated this guy?
No, I haven't.
Have you been to his house? Have you seen his car?
I've seen his car, but I've not been to his house.
What is he driving?
That's the problem. I don't know names of cars, but his car was okay. I'm not good with cars.
Oh, that's a first. Most of y'all know Car from a mile away. So
I'm not
when
good with cars.
for everybody who's listening who might not understand this, when somebody says, when a West African says his car is okay, that means they have something like in the range of a older Hyundai or Honda, something like that. So that's what okay
Yeah,
means.
yeah.
So basically, he's not a
It
high
was a
earner.
Jeep. It was a Jeep.
Cherokee Jeep, probably. All right. So at best, he's middle class. Let me explain one thing to you. High earning men have no, high earning men do not choose women who are educated. If you notice the majority of people who are successful businessmen, multimillionaires, CEOs of corporations, the majority of the time, their wives are not walking around with degrees because they marry women according to what they desire. They desire to acquire a wife. When you desire to acquire a wife, you can't you can't have two of the same. You could be an individual or you could be a wife. And what do I mean by being an individual? When a female leaves home, decides to go to school, decides to get in relationships that don't lead to marriage, and talk about going out and getting a degree, she's being her own individual self, meaning she is not a wife and she's not qualified to be a wife. When a female is a wife, even before marriage, because you have to be a wife, you have to be raised to be a wife. You have to have that before you even marry. I'm gonna let you get back here. When a female is a wife, she goes from her father's house to her husband's house. She remains home, bear kids, and is a caretaker of the family. That's what a wife is. That's someone who was raised to be a wife. If you was raised to be a wife, you wouldn't be running off to school, chasing degrees, and having relationships with men that don't lead to marriage. You're seeking to be your own individual, independent self, as they call it, even though it's no such thing. But you're seeking to be your own independent self, but yet you're somehow looking for the outcome that only wives get. Do you get me on that? If you notice, with all this individuality that you guys got going on today, none of y'all are really getting married. It's a small fraction of y'all are getting married. And when you are, you're marrying people the same age, students, maybe people who have come out of high school or whatever, or university with you. But you both remain on that same level. Not always, but for the most part, most people remain on that same level for the rest of their lives, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are some people who are okay with having very little. Nothing wrong with that. There are some people who are ambitious and desire to have more or, have a higher standing in society. You get me with that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want to talk in circles, but I guess what I'm saying is that your mother didn't raise you to be a wife.
She did.
No, she didn't. Because if she raised you to be a wife, you would have never left home without being engaged to be a wife to a man. You're chasing a degree.
Wow.
You said it. You're chasing a university degree, are you not?
I am.
All right. So you're not chasing a husband.
But that's basic.
Not
I
basic.
feel like education is basic.
Education to what extent? 8 years in
Uni-
university?
Sorry, what did you say?
Are we talking about college or are we talking about your high school?
College, university.
College. Is this the one where you guys, excuse me, is this guy where you guys have to do your formal education and graduate and do that service?
Yes, youth service. After this is youth service.
Okay, so that's basic. Okay, so I'm a little mixed up. Okay.
Yes,
After that,
exactly.
so when you say degree, I'm thinking of the 4 year and 8 year college university.
I guess I don't know. It's university. I don't know. The one where you become a doctor or a nurse or an accountant
Yeah,
or a banker. Yeah,
but
that's it.
you're talking about basic formal education, not talk.
Yes,
I'm gonna have,
yes.
I'm gonna have to look over go over this because the way your school system works is a little confusing.
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
want to be a
exactly.
doctor, if I want to be a doctor, and I'm in Nigeria, if I want to be a doctor, how many years of university do I need?
6 years.
6 years. Meaning,
Yes.
when do I start university? At the age of what? 19.
At the age of 17.
So I could be a doctor by the age of 23.
Yes.
Wow. Here, I think it's like 12 years. But
Oh no.
what are you going for?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy. When do you graduate?
Uh, Next year.
After next year, what are your plans?
I prefer to take things as they come, but of course I'll do my youth service, get a job, then whatever.
Then whatever.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow, right?
Yes.
No plans, no strategy, no nothing. I'm just gonna go with the flow, and life is just gonna end up the way it's gonna end up, right?
Yeah, kind of.
And that's the way you're gonna arrive to that 10-year date to be married with a beautiful home, beautiful kids, and everything. Just by going with the flow and
I
letting
know.
life happen.
I
It's
know
just gonna all
everything
fall
will be
into place.
fine.
It's just gonna all fall into place, right?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. I see now. It'll just all fall into place.
Wait, please
Somehow, some
excuse
way.
me.
Go ahead.
Sorry, why is the education there 12 years? College.
Because most men care nothing about a woman's education. Because education doesn't, as long as you graduated from high school, college, university don't matter to men of means. Men of means are men of means. High earning men understand that they're able to provide for themselves, their family, their wives, and their children. They don't need any help with it.
Oh.
So why would they concern themselves with women who have these degrees?
Okay. Okay, but what
They
if you
don't
just
need
want to like
they don't
get the
they don't need your money.
degree?
They don't need your money.
Okay, but what if you just want to have the degree?
What if what if he just wants you to stay home?
What if you don't want to?
Then you might have want to choose differently. Because when you talk about what I call men of value, I call this men who earn well over six figures, men who are strong leaders, men who are protectors. With men of value, you don't get to do what you want to do. It's all about doing what they want you to do, being on their program. Do you get that?
Okay, that comes with controlling, like
No, it
controlling
doesn't.
men.
If you feel that's control, then be without them and deal with the low earning men. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're not going to deal with a high earning man and think that you're going to have it your way. See, this is what a lot of females don't understand. They think being on a man's program and understanding how to be under a man's authority is all about control. You said you was raised to be a wife. That's why I said you were not raised to be a wife whatsoever. And I'm gonna get to that again in a second. Being under a man's authority means just that, under his authority. Yet you and others will be the same ones to say that y'all believe in God, but yet y'all truly hate God because you hate the order that God has instituted things to be. Man, women, and children. God said that I'm the head of every man. Do you know that God is not your head? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
He said that the head of woman is who? Man. So just like God is the head of man, and man is accountable to God and under his authority, the same trickles down where you are under man's authority. So if I'm under God's authority and God is telling me one thing, and I say, "Oh God, yeah, I hear you talking, but I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do it my way." You think things are going to turn out well?
No.
All right.
No.
When when you're under a man's authority and you determine to do things your way, not his way, you think that it's going to turn out well in the end?
Well,
Ah, you see how it
no, not
changes now.
really.
So why would you insist on doing it your way? That what if, like you said, what if I want a degree? What if I want to go for this? What if I want to do that?
Well,
What
the
what if
the
he tells you
basic
no to
stuff
all of it?
that will make it look a little controlling, and that's what women are avoiding.
And that's why men are avoiding. The same reason you said that's why women are avoiding, that's why men are avoiding y'all as well. Now you see how that works?
Yeah.
Exactly. So the men that y'all desire don't want y'all because in order to be with them, they're going to do things a certain way. When a man has reached a certain plateau in his life, he got there because of knowing what he wants and knowing how to balance the equation of all things around him. The same way he would do it with his own household. And when he understands that a female like yourself think that is being controlling and you look at it as a negative, he's going to move on to the next one who will get on this program. You see, a man of value will always have the ability to find a woman who is willing to get on this program. It's you females who are going to have a hard time finding anything like him. You see, the man could go out and pick from millions. Y'all don't really have much of at all to pick from. You see who favors this? You see who favored this is working in?
Yeah.
So guess what's going to happen, Noella? You're going to get on a man's program or you're not. And if you're not, then you're going to have a life of struggle. So you could pick one of the two. Let's get a little further into what we was talking about, age gap dating. We done completely forgot about any and all things. The reason I was talking about this is a lot of ladies who you might see, you can see a lot of 35 and 40-year-old females walking around today. A lot of them are very angry because they don't life didn't turn out according to the way that they thought it would turn out. They don't have the man, they don't have the husband, they don't have nothing at all. Lots are struggling. And another part of that is because they see the men that are there in their age range, that 35 to 45 age range, they're going out and choosing girls who are younger. Not your type, but choosing girls who are around the age of 20 who are willing to get on their program. Not your rebellious type. You're rebellious. You don't want to be controlled by anybody. So not you,
Yes, I
precisely.
don't. I don't.
All right.
Honestly, I don't want to be controlled.
Yeah, we're gonna get to we're gonna find your outcome. We're gonna go into the crystal ball with you in a minute. So just hold on with that. So I just want to get your thoughts on this. If you were, I'm not even gonna say you. If one your age had the desire to get married and be provided for, how would that work? Marrying someone the same age?
The person my age, the lady my age wants to be married and provided for, and she wants to marry her age mate. It's
Mm-hmm.
possible. If
Tell me
it's
how.
possible.
I'm
Did you
asking.
hear me? I'm
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 asking
saying it's
how.
possible because if the person, I don't know, if the guy my age has already gotten his money or something, then
You just
it's possible.
you just throwing it out there. Gotten this money how? Doing what?
There are things you can do. There are jobs
Like,
you can make up something.
like,
I don't know. Or they can live a low income life, like you said earlier. They can live a low income life if they really want to be together.
you see
They
how that
will
switched
be
up real
able
quick
to.
though? But when I'm pressing you to give me the how, you changed it real quick and went, oh well, they could be low earning income and they could just enjoy each other's company. You see how when I press you about how is that possible, you just abandon that real quick.
No, there are people that can like make a way and earn something that is tangible
At what age do
at young
men at
ages.
what age do men start to put themselves together and begin to do well in their career path?
Let me say mid 20s, late 20s. Definitely not early 20s.
Definitely not 20s at all. Men don't mature until the age of 30 and above. Biologically, this is scientifically, this is human nature that's been known for since forever. Men mature at least 10 years slower than women. Have you not known that? When you see successful businessmen, are they in their 20s? No, they're in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
You know, I feel like guys that are not married in their 30s, I feel like they're also getting married late.
Well, it doesn't make sense for a man to marry early. Why would a man marry in his 20s when, first of all, he's not a provider? He hasn't learned to be a leader, and he hasn't been able to go through the experience in life that would make him a strong man in order to be the foundational rock for a family in the first place. So it makes no sense for a man to marry in his 20s. In order to have a successful marriage, even a basic marriage, is all about provision, protection, and leadership. You don't get that in your 20s.
But you know, like, I know that that's basic. What you're saying is actually basic and relatable. But I know personally, like, three people: a guy that married at 21, another one, I don't know when he got married, but he got married immediately after school. And the third one, I don't know when he got married too, but I know that is in their early 20s. These three people I'm talking about. And they have successful marriages with their
Again,
children.
again, you started out saying a man of value, a high earning, a high class man. That's what you started out saying. If we're going to sit here and say, it's fine and your goal is to be married to a low earning man and just be simple folks waiting, growing old together, nothing wrong with that. But that's not what you said when we started. So every time that I pressed you, you change things around again. I know people marry when they're young. I know some men could get married in their younger age, but that's a particular type of class of men. A lower class of men, yes, they do that because they don't see much else on the back end of life. So they're capable of doing that. Men who are ambitious, who see the sky as being the limit, and know that when they reach their 30s and their 40s, they're going to have something to offer. They're not going to marry in their 20s because their 20s is going to be about getting their head together. Their 30s is going to be about putting their game plan together, and their 40s is going to be about executing that game plan. So yes, if you want to live the low earning income life, that's fine. Marry your age mate, but you're not going to get anything better than that. And just know that you need to know that you're going to be satisfied with that. and don't complain about it in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Well, life is a hell of a struggle. How much pharmaceutical? How much? If you were to get a job in pharmaceutical business at a pharmacy, this and the other, in another year or two, how much do you make? How much would you make on average?
I don't know.
You're going to school for a particular thing. You don't even know how much they make. What, monthly?
Yeah, I guess.
How much does the average house, 3 bedroom house, and say, I'm not even going to say in Arcadia or nothing like that, or Lucky or nothing. On the outskirts of Lagos, how much would a
That's
3 bedroom? Huh?
that's that's close to 1 million.
No, a million. A million
Three
naira.
bedroom on average. I
Are you
think
making
so.
this house? Are you making this house out of Is this like a mud house?
No, I think you said average now.
The average 3 bedroom home outside of Lagos costs approximately 20 to 25 million naira.
Are you serious? Okay. I don't even know these things. I'm sorry. I don't know these things.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
How do I know it? 'Cause I'm
I
always on
don't
the real
know.
estate page and I'm always on the real estate page looking at land and purchases and costs of houses in and outside of Lagos. I'm always doing that. So I know these things. If you want
Okay.
a middle class, a upper middle class home in on or around Lagos, it's roughly 40 to 50 million naira. Now
That's
that's approximately
estates.
yes,
Estates.
exactly.
Okay, you're talking
Yes.
of
Upper
estates.
class.
When you
Approximately
said
116
average house. Okay.
average house of 20 to 25 million naira.
Okay.
You get me? When you're
You know,
talking about the upper class, estates is 40 to 50 million naira on average.
that's upper class. There are houses of lower prices.
I said middle class is 20 to 2500 20 excuse me 20 to 25 million naira. Middle class.
Okay.
Middle class is average earners.
Okay. Okay.
So if you plan to have a home in 10 years, you got to find a way to come up with basically 60,000 US dollars on your own being a pharmaceutical,
Okay.
or you and your age mate are going to you and your age mate are going to have to find a way to live that middle average earning lifestyle and come up with that 20 to 25 million naira in the next 10 years. Really don't
Okay.
see how that could be done. The math wouldn't add up. I'm not going to go through the math for you, but it ain't going to add up. You get me?
Yeah, I do.
So maybe y'all can live under mommy and daddy for the next 15 years and save up. I don't know. Hey, people have done worse. But you want to marry your age mate. So that is going to, I'm just saying. Plus,
Yes, yes.
you can't marry a high earning man anyway because you don't like to quote unquote be controlled.
Yes.
So
Okay.
we know that a high earning man is completely out of your possibilities. So at least you see how this conversation we got, and now we can see what I get a glimpse of what life is going to be for you about 10 years from now.
Things are adjustable. So, like I said earlier, go with the flow. So, I don't know.
What
I'm just answering, Sha.
what's the last? What you say last? You said you're just saying what?
Like, I'm just answering. Like, answer. I'm just. answering based on what I think now. It can change. That's the
Oh,
thing. I don't know.
so you're saying you could change your mind as
Yeah, but
time
I,
goes?
I could also not change my mind. I don't know.
Guess what? What it is,
But
what it is, you're saying is already what it's been. So that'll likely continue on. Because even if you tried to change your mind, you're still going to have that inner spirit of who you already are. That doesn't really change. You can hide it, manipulate it, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So people change, but the spirit don't. If that make any sense. So
yeah,
before I let you go, I was going to say, oh, I wanted to get back to the mother part. Um, your mother, your mother didn't raise you to be a wife
she
whatsoever. She
did.
raised you to be no, she raised you to be individual. Because if she raised you to be a wife, you wouldn't be like I said. We already went through the degree stuff, so we're not going to go through that. You wouldn't be here talking about control. Because when a woman is or a young lady is raised to be a wife, she's raised to know to be submissive to a man. You don't want that. So in no shape, form, or way could you even be a wife in the first place. Like I said, you could be a wife to an age mate, but that is going to be nothing but clashing. And you know why a lot of relationships of the same age clash so often? Because when you're the same age as someone else, you see that person on your level. So your respect is going to be a lot less for that person than it would for someone who has already experienced life, who is already a leader, who has already done it, who's already able to provide and protect and do all these things. And that's what you see with a lot of divorces today. A lot of divorces do happen, or a lot of disrespect happens with people who are around the same age. Because as a female, she's looking at you like we're on the same level when we're not on the same level. But that's how it's looked upon. Like, you can't talk to me, you can, I could do it my way, I could do this. See, with an older gentleman, most females don't play them games because they have a level of respect. There's a level of respect for those men who are successful in the world versus those young men who are not successful as they are. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure we're on the same level. So, according to those men, you would not be wife material to them.
Okay.
According to your age mate, anything is wife material when you're in your 20s to a man because a man hasn't accomplished anything in his 20s. So he'll take what he can get. It's making you think a little bit now, ain't it?
Mm,
Is it?
yeah.
So that's how the story ends. Onella, is it Onella?
Noella.
Onella, Owella. So
Noel. Noella.
Owella is going to marry someone a few years older. They're going to live with mom and dad for about maybe 10 years, have a few kids, save up to buy their first home, and live happily ever after. Right?
It's not the way it is there. It's not the same way it is there.
What you mean in America?
Yeah, I think the way it is there, it's like you basically can afford a lot at a very young age. I don't know from what you're
Who
saying
told you
because you're
that?
saying
Who told
because
you
you're
that?
saying I don't know, but you're saying that you get married to your age mate, then you have to live with your mom and dad for some 10 years with your children before you're able to buy your own house. I don't think it's like that here. Like basically,
So
if you
you're
want to
telling
be married here, you have to live on your own. You cannot live with your parents.
the whole point is that you want to live a middle class life, and I'm telling you that a home alone costs 20 to 25 million naira. You're saying that you're going to earn about approximately 200K if you're fortunate to get a job right after you come out, and in all likelihood, your age mate is going to be making around the same. You're going to have to pay bills while you're saving up. You're going to have to buy food. You're going to have child expenses. You're going to have all this where your money is going to be going to over these next 10 years. So it's going to be very hard to save up 25 million naira to go out and buy a home.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that, yes, marry an age mate, but understand there's going to be a life of financial struggle. That's all this is about. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you marry someone if you marry an older man who has already reached his success and is ready to get married, successful men do not marry young because they don't even become successful until they're almost 40 years old anyway. The average man all across the world, from country to country, you can do the statistics. The average man does not reach his plateau until between the ages of 40 and 45. His true success. Even if you want to go as young as 35, maybe somebody who stumbled upon something, a bright idea, use 35 to 45. Those men do not tend to marry until around the age of 40 because they spend so many years building their success in order that they could get to a plateau in life that where they know once I reach here, I'm going to have my choice of many. When you have not reached a level of success, you don't have a whole bunch of options to pick from. You can only pick from your class. If you're on the low earning, you can only choose from low earning people. Low earning men choose low earning women. That's just how it goes. High earning men pick from both. They have that choice of both because the money of the woman doesn't matter because they have it all covered. So that's what it all comes down to. Older men are able to provide a life of financial stability to a younger wife that he chooses. An age mate cannot provide that. We understand?
Yes.
Is anything
Yes.
that I said incorrect?
No.
And you're still thinking about that control?
Yes. That's a big factor. It's a big
So
factor.
listen to this, guys. The fact, the, the point being that she doesn't want to be so-called controlled, which really means she doesn't want to have to listen to the authority of a man. That she's willing to struggle through all of her days in life rather than have to listen to the authority and be being placed under man. But listen to this. She will quickly seek out a job and have a boss who she would subserve herself to his or her authority. So she will go to work, have a boss, be under that authority of her boss, and her boss tell her everything to do from A to Z, and she would do it without even talking back. But a man who would be willing to provide for her, to make her a stay-at-home wife, she has no interest in being under his authority. Men, listen, because these are the women of today. These
Okay.
are the women of today. And there's no wonder that a lot of men are running away from their um, country women these days. You got black Americans running and white Americans running to Brazil, Philippines, Vietnam, um, other parts of Africa, Kenya, Uganda. But I had got it wrong because I noticed that a lot of these men are not running over to West African women anymore like they once were for a short period of time. And this is why, because a lot of that feminism have gotten into y'all. You're 21 and telling me that you reject the notion that you should be placed under the authority of a man that you will one day call a husband, but you're very okay with being placed under the authority for 8 to 12 hours a day from a stranger that you call a boss. Makes no sense at all. Makes absolutely no sense. But this is the way y'all think today. And this is why a lot of y'all will never be married And when the ones who do get married have a struggle because they're not qualified to marry anything above where they already are. And I don't mean to sound mean because it's not mean. I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking in general to people who are listening. But the outcome from 10 years from now, by the grace of God, His mercy, I will still be here, still be young and fresh in 10 more years. Because I'm going to love to come back around one day. Even if I disappear, I'm just doing my business. I'm just going about, I'm just living life. I'm just enjoying life. I made it a point to come back here, whatever platform. Instagram might not even be around in 10 years. So I don't know. But I'm going to find my way around just so I could see the women who are in their 30s, how they did in life. Because the women 10 years from now, those who are going to be around the age of 30, that is going to be y'all who I talk to right now when y'all were around the age of 20. And I'm saying this now just so y'all could call me Nostradamus when that time comes. A lot of y'all are going to look back and wish you had done it a different way and wish that your mother had raised you a different way. Because the way your mom raised you is not to be a wife. She raised you to be your individual self. And that is likely the outcome that you're going to get 10 years from now. You're going to be with your individual self. Noella,
Yes, I'm here.
anything?
No, I can hear you.
I'm saying anything? You can say what you feel.
People like you're saying the lady will want to be working under a boss, but she'll not want to be submissive or be controlled. You cannot say everybody is going to have a boss. Some people are going to have their own business and everything. So, like, not everybody is literally going to be controlled to earn. Then, the controlling attitude I'm talking about is, I don't even know how to put it, but I feel like men are already naturally controlling. Then, coupled with
How about,
them being the sole provider and
how about,
being
how
many
about,
years older than you.
do you believe in God?
Yeah, I do.
You believe in God of the Bible, Yahweh? Hmm?
I believe in God.
I said, do you believe in the God of the Bible, Yahweh?
Yes, yes.
Do you believe in his son, Yeshua,
What's that?
the son of God, the son of man, the Christ, Yeshua?
Yes, yes.
Well, y'all use the white man's term Jesus, which is not his name, but um, that's neither here nor there right now. Um, you believe in God, but yet you 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 reject all of his you reject his order of family structure. Because you could know God, but you could be an enemy of God if you reject that which he has stated to be true and correct. You see, when people really believe in God, they believe it because they live it. They don't talk it. When people don't believe in God or fear God, they talk it, but they don't live it. See, in order for a woman to truly know God and belong to God, she wouldn't be talking the way that you are. She just wouldn't. She wouldn't be talking about this control. This, she would already understand that men are the leaders, men are the provider, protector. As a female, females are not qualified to lead themselves. They're not qualified to lead themselves in anything concerning the matters of this world, as far as being out there and moving about. That's why in a book and even in life, when a female is not under her father or her husband, she's called uncovered, unprotected. Why do you think when your females are not under the authority of a husband or your father, y'all go out and make all these mistakes? You find yourself in relationship after relationship because you're not capable of leading yourself. Y'all don't want to admit to, not all, but some of y'all don't want to admit to that, but y'all continue to fall victim to bad decision after bad decision after bad decision because you're not qualified to lead yourself. And you're sitting here talking about control. You don't have control over yourself, but yet you're worrying about a man having control over your decision making when he's more qualified to decide for you than you are. Just want you to think about that. A man that would have been your husband is more qualified to lead you than you're able to lead yourself. You see, when you get on here and you talk to a man like me, it's gonna force you to think about that which goes on upstairs in your head. See, a lot of people, when they're younger, they talk it and they think it is what it is, but it's a lot of time it's not what you really think it is. And unless somebody tells you what it is and tell you what's coming, you're going to just continue to go out there and make the same mistakes that's going to lead to a life of disappointment by the age of 30, 35, and 40 years old. My point is to give inspiration and knowledge in order for that not to take hold. Because moving in the way that you're moving, there's not a lot of bright spots in the next 5, 10, 15 years. I'm just being honest. How tall are you?
How tall am I?
How tall are you?
5'7".
Oh, so you're a tall girl. So you're considered tall for a female. How much do you weigh, you know?
No, I don't. Oh, 70.
70 kg? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give yourself as far as looks in the face? On your best
10.
day?
10.
You give yourself a 10.
Obviously 10. Yeah.
I don't know. Let me bring somebody that you know. You know Beyonce, who Beyonce is, right?
I do.
Beyonce is considered an 8. You know who Rihanna is, right?
Yes, I do.
Rihanna on her best day is considered a 7.
Okay.
So you think you're 3
So
points better?
who is considered a
Yeah.
10?
Well, there are not many 10s in the world to start off with. So I can't point anybody out. Halle Berry in her prime would be considered a 10.
Halle Berry.
You know her?
No, I don't.
All right. I know who would be considered close to a 9, close to a 10. That's Nigerian. What is Geneve? Geneve.
Okay.
So
Genevieve.
Geneve would be considered a 9, not even a 10. She's a 9.
Okay.
So you're telling me that you're 4 points better looking than Rihanna, 3 points better looking than Beyonce, and 1 point better looking than Geneve or whatever, Geneva or whatever.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. All right. I'm going to let you.
Hey, good.
I'm trying. All right. Me, I'm going to say a 6, but which is above average, which is better looking than average. And I haven't even seen your hair, so I don't know if you wear weaves or wigs or what.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I wanted to say now that you're not seeing me well. I'm sure.
I'm just going
Okay,
by
no
face. I'm just
problem.
going by face, but I mean,
Okay, you're just talking about face.
I'm just on my face. I'm just on my face. Six is, you know, the majority of people are 5s. The majority of people in the world are average looking people. Out of 8 billion people in the world, probably over 7 billion of them are average looking or below. So to be above average is, something to consider. So 6 is above average. So there's nothing wrong with that. But
I
yeah,
feel like
trans.
I'm more than 6. Honestly, I don't think I'm even 7 for real.
The thing is, it's not really about what you see because you're not trying to marry yourself. So what you see matters absolutely not to anybody. What we see as men is what matters because we're the one who have to decide whether we want to marry you or not. So what you think is irrelevant. It's what we think that matters.
Okay.
And being 5'7", it takes away from a lot of the pool of men that you have accessibility to. Because you're 5'7", the majority of men in Nigeria are only like 5'6". So you're taller than a lot of men in Nigeria.
No.
If you're 5'7", I
I'm,
don't think you know your height then. If you're five, do you know how tall 5'7" is?
yes.
How tall is 5'7"? How tall is the average woman? All right, we gotta wrap this up. Come on, I'm trying to find pounds. There we go. $5'4" is the average woman. And what's the height of the average man?
Yes, yes. 5 feet 4.
5 for what?
5 feet 4, yes. 4 inches.
5 foot. No, I said, what is the average height of men? Men.
Oh, men.
Yes. Back the store. All right. Let's see if she can get that question out. All right. There you go. 5'9". And if you were to go out a night on the town and put a dress on and put some nice heels on, guess what? You're gonna be taller than your man.
Okay.
And you're 155 pounds. That's considerable. That's a bit thick right there. And by the time you have a baby, you're looking to put on 20 to 30 more pounds. So after a baby, you're looking at to be around 170 pounds at 5'7". So it looks like you're going to have to go along with that age mate.
Okay.
I'm just saying. You hear me?
You said I have to go along with the age mate.
Yeah. You're going to have to marry that age mate.
Okay,
But,
so the older people want smaller women.
well, men who have achieved a certain status in life look at a lot of things when they're looking for a wife. They look for youth. They look for a womb that's free of abortions or giving birth to another man's seed. They look for a woman who was raised to be submissive. They look for a woman who was a certain height and a certain weight.
Okay,
Men
and
of
the
status,
certain
that's what they. Hmm?
okay, and the certain height is like short.
Most men choose women around 5'4", 5'5" height. And not to say that some
Okay,
men like tall
that's
women.
short.
No, I said the majority, but some men prefer taller women. So
Yeah.
you do have men out there who do prefer taller women versus shorter ones. The majority chooses shorter, but some men prefer taller. So that's out there. So I'm just saying, that's just what it is. At the end of the day, the way things rolling for you, just prepare to marry your age mate. All right? You know me? Can we be
Because I'm
satisfied with that?
rebellious. Because I'm
Yes. Well, that's
rebellious.
part. Yes, that's part of
Okay,
it.
okay.
So,
What if I'm not rebellious?
well, can't really say what if because if don't exist. You are what
Okay,
you are, and it is what it
okay,
is.
okay.
What if I was the president of the United States? I mean, that's not who I am. So, what does it matter?
Yeah, so yeah.
So, you're a rebellious 21-year-old woman who wasn't raised to be a wife, and you're seeking to be your individual self and desire to have an age mate that you can probably control. Because the way you're talking, it seems like you prefer to have control over the man versus the man having control over you.
No, like it's not like I prefer to have control over, but I really don't like, the idea of older men scares, it scares people.
Why? Because you might have to be accountable for your actions.
No, it's just scary, like generally. The age difference that is more than 10 years is scary.
Tell me why. What's scary about it?
It's just scary. It's just scary.
Tell me what's scary about it. You can't tell me
I
if I'm
can't I
watching
can't
a
even
movie.
explain, but
I'm I like to know. Like I said, I want to be in the know. So explain to me. Dig deep down inside and pull that truth out of your soul.
I don't know, but I know that men 10 years older, like more than 10 years, it's already scary enough. I don't know.
I'm really fascinated to find out why though.
I don't know how to explain that one.
Because I know my grandmother, which pretty much everybody grandmother taught them. For us, for me, it was never marry, never marry unless the female is at least 10 years younger. And she was right about that. And she comes from back. She comes from the old days, back in the 40s, 50s, and all that. So
Hmm.
that was good advice that I took, and it was. I'm glad I didn't have to learn the other lesson that some people learn. Not a day in my life would I marry some. And again, let me give you another scenario. You marry your age mate. Life becomes a big surprise to you. He becomes
Hmm.
a big success by the age of 35, 40, whatever. So now y'all both 40 years old. Y'all made it to a level of finances y'all never thought possible. Y'all living a good life. Damn. Now this 40-year-old man who's coming into his prime, men come into their prime between the ages of 35 and 40. So a man coming into his prime now has become successful, but now he got a 40-year-old wife. What normally happens?
Okay. Wait, when did they get married?
Doesn't matter. They've been married since 20 years old. They've been married for
And
20
they have
years,
their
age of 40.
okay.
They have
There's
two,
there's
three
nothing
children.
wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what happens.
So a man who has never had, and now he's successful at the age of 40, he has a 40-year-old wife. Guess what? Most 40-year-old
What?
men don't want 40-year-old women.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. And when a man is 40 and his wife is 40 and he reaches a certain financial status, he's like, damn, now I'm balling. I could go do what it is that I really desire to do. And guess what that is? Go get me a 20-year-old because now I'm in my prime and she's way past her prime. When a female is 40, she's past her prime. When a man is 40, he's in his prime. So a man in his prime is likely to go back, seek out a 20-year-old who's in her prime versus dealing with a 40-year-old female who's way past hers.
That's cheating.
I don't care. No, that's called life.
That's cheating.
It's called how life works. Do you deny that men desire youth?
They do, but
But
at the
nothing.
expense
That's
of
what it is.
cheating.
It doesn't matter what you call it. It's the way of the world. Calling it whatever you want to call it ain't going to change anything. It's not going to change the biology of men. 40-year-old men do not want 40-year-old women. They just don't. So yes, you could do what the age may. 20 years from now, it's me looking at, damn, how do I go out and get me something younger now? Because this is past its expiration date.
Okay, if you get married to somebody that you're like that older than, how do you guys relate? It's
If
not
we
all
what?
about the financial, the age difference. You cannot relate well.
I've been married 3 times. First two, my fault. This one for 7 years. Our age gap is 20 years.
Okay, how do you guys relate? There are things
Because she
that
follows. Because I
your
lead.
social
Because
life
I
is not.
lead. We work together. We live together. We sleep together. We eat together. We raise our children together. Because she came into the marriage understanding that I was to be respected for that which I've already went through and what I was capable of getting to. She married me as a submissive wife. She was raised to be a wife by her mother, by her father. So she was already put in a position to be, she already had the characteristics of a wife. She wasn't seeking to be an individual person. She wasn't worrying about being under the control of a man. She trusted me. She married me. 7 years later, here we are. See how that works? Same thing she said later on. Oh, I was afraid to marry you because I didn't know what to expect. Because the age difference, she didn't know what to expect. Yet, everything is everything. That's why I said that I'm fascinated to try to see this fear thing that you got, this fear factor. I mean, with me, we're not talking about 10, we're talking about 20. With my first, we were talking about 11. With the second, we were talking about 13. So I would, there's no way in the world that me as a 40-year-old man would marry a 40-year-old woman. That wouldn't happen. I mean, unless she drop dead gorgeous 10, outside of that, it'd be impossible. Men desire youth and looks. That's what we want. So yes, like it or not, the best outcome for a young female who was raised to be a wife, in your case, you was raised to be an individual, but even in your case, it would benefit you just as much because you desperately need to be led. You desperately need to be told that your thinking is off and you're going astray. You're not walking in the right direction according to your ideology. So it would behoove you to find a man that's older and attach yourself to him in order that he could properly lead you. Because the way you're leading yourself, well, like I said, no female has a qualification to lead themselves in the first place. But being that you're not even under your father, you're just falling off, quicker than most. And you marrying someone 20 years old ain't gonna be able to lead you to anything. He can't teach you anything. Y'all gotta teach each other. And that is a struggle within itself. So it will benefit you to choose somebody 35 or whatever in order that you can be properly led and that your thinking could be on par with the faith that you claim that you have. You're not going to get it from a 20-year-old. You're just not. In our 20s, all we think about is sex, 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 sex. In my 20s, I don't know anything else. Most men. In their 20s, it's all about sex. How much sex can we get? In our 30s, we begin to think about what am I going to do to be able to provide for myself and the family one day. By our 40s, we're already into that. We already have our family. We already have our career. We already have all that settled. But for your stage where you are, it is so beneficial for you to choose someone around that 35 and above age. Your life will turn out dramatically better. For where you are and where you talk, your life will be dramatically better.
So what if I fall in love with my age mate? Do I have to
Then
leave the person because
no, then you fall in love, and if they feel the same way, then you marry and you go about with the first life that I told you. It's going to be one or the other. You're not going to get both. Life is all about choices. We all have to make choices. We all have to make sacrifices in life. We
okay,
have to
what
sacrifice
if
one thing for the other.
okay,
Hmm?
so you're saying we're in love and we get married and we get old. There is no way that if he gets to the prime, you're saying, the financial prime, he will now desire somebody younger. I don't think it's possible.
It happens every day. You don't think it's something that's possible that happens
Okay,
every day.
okay, but what about those that it doesn't happen to? What about those that it doesn't happen to?
If you're telling me that a man who's been married for 20 years, 40 years old, his wife is 40, however many kids, and he just all of a sudden ran into a bunch of money that his career or whatever took off, for the first time he's wealthy in his life. You're telling me that his first intuition is not going to be thinking about getting a younger wife? Did you hear me?
I'm hearing you. You said, and all of a sudden you ran into a bunch of money, eh?
I said a man who 40 and 40, bunch of kids. This man comes into money, age of 40 years old. Life is he's in his prime. He's in his physical prime years.
Yes.
You think that he's not going to think about going out and getting a younger woman, whether he marries or keeps her as a concubine or whatever else? You think that ain't on his mind?
Yeah, I know that may be on his mind, but that's where I don't know, personal attitude and self-control
Personal
comes in.
attitude. How about
I don't
biology?
think everybody I don't think everybody would do that. I feel like even if it's a general thing, I feel like there will be people that will still stand out and not do that.
Why? Because you want them to? Because that's what you want,
Whether
right?
no, I feel like them on their own, they wouldn't just want to do that. You know, they say the way you see men are like when they get to their prime and they have gotten a bunch of money, they want the younger ones. I don't think it's everybody that is like that. I feel like some men still see it like they are being pedophile, something like that.
Being
Not
what?
pedophile per se. Like some men don't really like being the whole age difference stuff, so much age difference. So still good.
I say successful men. Men who become successful. You see,
Mm-hmm.
when a man is not successful, he don't really have a choice in the matter. He doesn't have the ability to go out and do that. Men who are successful have the options. When you're successful and you're a man of value, you have many options. When you're not, you have very few options. That's the difference. See, you're seeing it from the eyes of a female. I'm seeing it from the eyes of a man. Men with options exercise options. Men without options have no choice but to go along with the program. That's what you're not getting. That's what you fell into receive or you just want to reject. You want to change the biology of men and it's not going to happen. The more money we make, the more we feel, what's the word that I'm looking for? The more money a man makes, the more he feels his reward is with more women. A man who doesn't earn as much is going to be is going to settle for just one woman and go through life like that. Maybe. And that's a big maybe. You're not going to find men with options and think that that man is just going to deal with a 40, 45-year-old woman. It's not going to happen. You don't want to believe it, but it's not going to change the fact that it's true.
You know, it's because of this thing you're saying that you find women that prefer to like stay on their own and not even involve themselves in marriage.
Then that's fine.
You know, it's not every woman that wants to get married because of
And
this thing you're saying.
because you don't want to go along, you don't want to do the things that you're supposed to do in marriage in order to have a long lasting relationship. That's the problem with you and the other females that you're speaking about. But guess what? Women are 10 to 1 on the earth versus men. So guess what? For every woman who don't want to marry or don't want to get on the man program, most men ain't going to have a problem with finding a woman who will. There are far more females on this earth than there are men. And out of successful men, there are very few. So guess what? Those men really don't care about those who don't want to get on a program and don't want to do this. Because there's millions who will. So that is not going to hurt men. It'll hurt you, but it's not going to hurt them. Makes sense?
I get you. I get your point.
So what you won't do, 100 more will do. The problem is you can't go out and find 100 men according to the type of men you truly desire. Who would choose you? That's the problem. So it's not about what y'all want. It's about what we want. And that's what you don't want to get through your head. We don't care what y'all want for the most part. Live with it or live without. Because these men are going to get what they desire. They're going to get what they want at all costs. There's too many females out here to worry about what one may think. Females come a dime a dozen. Beauty comes a dime a dozen. Successful men do not. They're a rare breed. So that's how the story ends. You chose life. You have your life pattern. We worked out your strategy. We worked out the game plan. We went through, we did the architectural work, the drawings and everything. So we know how your 10 years are going to look. So what more need to be said? We know Noella life turnout, basically. So 10 years from now, maybe an apartment with an age mate and a couple of kids. And, still catching a trotro, taxis to back and forth to work, working 10, 12 hours a day, stressing about bills and all that type stuff. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It's life. Hey, don't be afraid. It's life for a lot of people. The problem is you had the opportunity to make decisions that will give you a greater life, greater joy in life, but you chose because of these minor things that you complain about that you didn't want that life. So that's what it's going to be. Oh, excuse me. We good?
I don't think I'm good. I don't know. The part that is not settling well with me is the part that you said two young people fall in love and they grow old together and the man gets successful and he definitely would go for younger people.
It
Like
happens
I
all
feel
the
like,
time.
don't you even believe that there are people that will not do that?
Yeah, people who won't become successful.
No, no.
I mean, you can live through it to find out for yourself. I've already told you what it is. You could accept or reject, but It's not going to change the actual outcome in the real world. It is what it is. Look at Jeff
What
Bezos.
if
Look
you
at Bill
see
Gates.
when you
Look,
were
look,
you
look, look
said,
look at the Bill
eh?
Gates of the world. Look at the Bill Gates of the world. One of the richest men in the world. Look at Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon, the second richest man in the world. Look at the first richest man in the world, Elon Musk. When they got their billions, they all left their wife, who was the same age, in order to go get a younger woman. Even though they've been married to these women for decades, 30, 40 years. The minute they became billionaires, they decided to divorce their wives in order to go get women who are 10, 20, and 30 years younger than them. It's the reality of life.
So there's no one example of any man that stayed that you're trying to. And you said when men are younger, they only think of sex, sex, sex. Did you not know anybody when you were younger, like your age mate, that was not like that?
You want me to give you an example of something that don't exist?
It
So,
exists.
so,
It
okay,
exists.
let me tell you how it exists. When a woman is when a female is understanding enough to know that that man is going to be fooling around for as long as he wants, but he'll stay with you. We went through this. We had this talk. We had this show. It was called. We did a whole week on a show called "Is Cheating a Deal Breaker?" And it kind of went into that. And if you're talking about being with a successful man financially and him staying with you, you're going to have to deal with that man having others on the outside. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Basically, no man with options are just going to stay with you, a 40-year-old, 45-year-old woman. He's just not. He may remain married to you, but he's not just going to only have you. So
Okay.
it's better that you
So,
accept the realities so that you can deal with it when it comes.
okay. Well, I feel like this same reason you're saying is the same reason why you see women that don't even want to get married.
And
Because what's the use?
I see women who will also marry men with many wives.
Yeah, yeah. Those ones, I don't understand them, but
I
okay.
do, because they're not out here struggling. They're not worrying about their next meal. They're not worrying about paying their school fees. They're not worrying about can they ever afford a house. They're not worrying about none of that.
You I
They're not
cannot
worrying about
understand
children. They're
anybody
not
that
worrying
is
about.
getting married to somebody that already has wives.
I
Because
said some are.
marriage is
I said
supposed to be you.
no, it's not. You can't find me that anywhere in the Bible. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Since the beginning of time, men have had many wives. Since the beginning of time, that's always been. The only thing that in the Bible that says talks about one wife is if you're a pastor, if you're a leader of a church. Only if you're a pastor or you're a deacon, the Bible says that you must remain with one wife. That's only. So nowhere in the Bible does it says anything else about a man must be with one wife. It says a woman must be with one man. You're a gift to man. Man is not a gift to you. We are God's creation. You are God's gift to us.
No.
Well, then you haven't read a Bible before. You see, that's why I say people don't really believe in their faith. They just think they believe because they don't know anything about it. They haven't actually opened up those 66 books and go from the Torah to the gospel to the New Testament. They haven't done any of that. Y'all guys haven't done that research, so you don't even know what's in it. But I'm sitting telling you what's in it, and if you can find anything different, I'll give you $1,000. This is what I mean. But listen, this went on longer than we were supposed to tonight. We almost at Oh man, we way past an hour. So I see who's that walking up in the background, Mom?
You say what? Your grandmom?
I said your grandma. I said your mom. Who's walking around in the background?
Oh, okay. It's students.
Student, boy or girl?
Yeah,
Girl, of course.
girls, obviously. I'm in school.
So with y'all roommates,
Yeah,
get used to that.
yeah, I'm used to that.
I said, get used to it.
Yes, I don't know. I'm in school, so I'm already used to it.
I'm saying get used to having a roommate.
Okay.
Cause that may be the only way you're able to survive.
You mean
A
I cannot
roommate for
afford the
life, yes.
house?
To pay your bills, to make it through the next day, to make your
No,
paycheck last. So your
it's
life is
not.
going to be. So get used to having a roommate.
No,
I'm just warning you. I can only give you the warning.
no.
All right, all right. You all types of messed up. You don't know which way to go right now.
I don't even know how to explain, but I know what I'm saying is valid.
You actually deep down, you know what it is that I'm saying is actually true.
Yeah,
Maybe true.
but I'm trying to tell you that what you're saying is not 100%.
Nothing in life is 100%. There's no such thing as
Yes, not
100%
it's not
anything.
100%, but you're
We
making it
don't we
sound
don't
like it's everybody.
do we when we go about life and we think about the possibilities, do we think about the 3% of possibilities, or do we think about the 97% probability?
The majority, that's
There you
97.
go. There you go. There you go. That's how you walk through life. That's how you plan through life. So it is what it is. So like I said, either outcome you don't seem to want, but you're going to have to choose one or the other, or choose none at all, and get used to having a roommate. Doesn't feel good till you do it.
No, and it's not even true. Like it's not even going to happen. But I don't know how to explain to you. That's the
Exactly, because you
issue.
know what I'm saying is right. That's why you don't know how to
No,
explain it.
it is not.
All
It
right.
is not.
Until you start finding me the majority is doing one thing versus what I'm saying, then I don't know what can be said. Start showing me all these instances all over the place, all over the news, all in articles, all in everyday life that goes according to the way that you think it goes. Because the way that I say it, everybody can see that happens every day. We hear them stories every day.
So you're saying even the old couples that do their anniversary and goals and all.
I'm saying that the older couples, what I explained earlier,
Yes, that's
the
what I'm
man
trying
will
to say.
stay as long as she understands that she is not the only one. And he's going to do what he's going to do until he decides to stop.
Okay, so when these older men leave their wives when they have the bunch of money and they marry the younger wives, when they grow older again, will they still leave the wife again and go again for another new one?
No,
Oh,
you only get so
why?
young because, like, if you already have a youthful wife, if you're 60 and she's 40, then that's fine. That's fine. But if you're 60 and she's 55, yeah, not so much. If he's 60, you're 40, that's fine. He's 70, you're 50. Dig me?
Yeah.
There's no perfect this is what you got to understand. There's no perfect choice in this world. There's nothing that is going to be all the way good for anybody all around perfect. Doesn't exist.
Exactly.
We live in a world of sacrifices. You have to sacrifice one thing in order to get another. There's not a way that there's no such thing as having it all. Doesn't exist. So that's why I try to get younger people, especially our younger ladies, to understand, because men learn this early on in life. We understand that life is not a fairy tale. It's, it's people, it's you guys who need to be told that life is not a fairy tale, and that decisions have to be made, and they have to be made early on in life for young females. Because as I always say, a man could go up and screw up life 10 times over and still come out on the right side of life. You mess up at the age of 20, that could wreck your whole life. All of the options that you may have had. So there's no perfect answer to this because one doesn't exist because there's no perfect outcome. It's about checks and balances. It's about do I want this as much as I want that? Or do I want this as much as I want that? That's how you have to make your choice. You have to decide what's most important to you, and you have to live life according to that and go out and get that. But once you get it, you can't just turn around and say, oh, I was wrong. Because by that time, it's all messed up because you're a female. You're not going to have the options at the age of 30 that you have at 20. Men ain't out here saying, damn, how can I go get me a 30, 35-year-old female? That's not what they're saying. Your youth is your biggest asset right now. You better use it before it's too late.
I don't know, but the whole age gap stuff of like 20 years is scary.
All right. Life is going to be scary regardless.
It's like it's creepy.
All right. Then, like I said, do the age mate. Do the age mate. All right. We good with that? We good with the age mate?
We're good. We're
Enjoy,
good.
enjoy the, enjoy the next 20 years with them.
We're
Because,
good.
yeah, so at least you might get 20 years of enjoyment, which is a lot for people. A lot of stress, a lot of struggles, but y'all have great sex together. All right. Noella, I thank you for coming on, okay?
Okay.
All right. It's been a good conversation. I really enjoyed the conversation, to be honest.
Okay.
But you take some time to figure out this fear factor that you got. And when you figure it out, you come back on and let me know. All right?
And I hope you find people that are not leaving their wives and cheating because they've gotten a bunch of money. I
I'm not
really
out
hope
there
you
searching
find
for
them.
that. I mean, if the sky remained blue and money fell out and there was just joy with everybody and food grew on trees and nobody starved to death, I like that too. But it doesn't mean it's going
No,
to happen.
no, I'm saying like I hope you find men that are not cheating and changing wives once they get a bunch of money. I hope you see
It's,
them too. I hope you
well,
like experience them in real life.
why do I need experience? I don't
Because
care.
I don't know. I just hope, Sha, that you come across such people. Because if you say it's like that, I feel like somebody that is doing that is going to continue doing that, whether he gets a younger person or newer wife.
Well, it's going to be a wait and see now, ain't it? Ain't nothing guaranteed in life, is it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, but you know how it's going to be with your age mate. So, like I said, you already got those details, so you already know how it's going to turn out. That's what I said. Enjoy as much as you can for the first 20 years, and make sure you don't make a
Okay.
lot of money.
Why would I not make a lot of money?
I said make sure he doesn't make a lot of money,
Oh,
because I guarantee you he will be out.
no, I don't think so.
All right, it ain't about what you think. It's about the reality of life.
Okay.
All right. It's been real, but you check back with me when you figure that out. And as far as me finding these type of men, if I run across any, I'll be glad to shoot you a message and tell you that I found a shiny star amongst the Milky Way in the universe. That
I
I
hope
found a
I'll be
man.
I hope I'll get the message from you.
All right. Well, you keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. So just
Okay.
keep hope alive, and I'll keep an eye out for such a man. All right.
Yes, please keep your eyes out. Okay.
All right. All right. So when you figure that out, you come back to me. All right.
Okay.
All right, Noella. See you in 10 years or before then.
Okay.
All right. Good night, my sister.
Okay. Good night.
All right. Night. Oh man. Oh man. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh. She she desperately want to find some encouraging stories of a man, any man that made a lot of money in his 40s and remained with his wife who were in their 40s. She desperately want to hear a story like that just so that it can encourage her to make her feel better to go out and marry her age mate. Oh, oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, man. Anyway, that was fun. That was fun. Y'all gotta admit that was fun. All right. At least we got through some things. The one thing I could tell about her is just like I could tell with anybody, when we conversate, I make it in a way that you really have to give thought to what you might have thought, what you once thought once upon a time. And by the time you leave here, you're going to leave this show with a lot of questions of your previous ideology and dealing with matters of relationships and life in general. But that's the point, to spark conversation, to spark thinking, to go beyond what it is that we once thought in order that we can make sure that we're right, on the right trajectory in life. And, it is what it is, man. Um, like I tell you, like I say, man, she's in deep thought. She's definitely in deep thought. She's thinking twice about everything she once thought. And the one thing that keeps bothering her is that when she turns 40 and her husband turns 40, and if some way, somehow, he's able to bring in some financial success with us to come. I'm just here to warn you the likelihood. I can't say that anything by 100% guaranteed this is going to happen. That's not what I ever said. That's why I told her nothing is 100%. But I'm saying the likelihood, according to the history of men, how we act in certain situations, that is the likelihood. That would be the thing to be expected. Now, if it doesn't happen, then you got yourself a gem. So, I mean, look at it that way. I mean, any and everything in life is a gamble, no matter how you look at it. But like I said, you could look at possibility or you could look at probability. The probability is that that man is going to want something younger than a 40-something-year-old woman if he's still in his 40s and he's financially successful. Just the way that it is, the way men are. Been that way since the beginning of time. Will be that way until the Lord comes back. Hasn't changed and is not going to change. The problem with females is they want to change what men already are. Rather than acting accordingly and positioning yourself to be with a man for life by doing the things that are necessary, they prefer to keep fighting and going against the grain to change men into something that they're never going to be. And this is where all this disappointment comes from. And this is how you run into them no-fault divorces. People going into these relationships with expectations that are just not realistic. This is the real world. Things don't work here in the real world the way they work on Nollywood or Bollywood or Hollywood. The way that it works in the movies is not the way that it works in real life. And some people find it hard to separate that. Movie is art. Art imitates life. But what is not always said, it imitates a portion of life. So art takes a portion of real life and implants it into a fantasy. And reality and fantasy come together, and that's how movies are made. Once you understand that concept, you can start understanding how to make better decisions and better preparation in life. All right, guys, we've been through it. I'm missing the World Series with the Phillies. Our baseball team, Philadelphia Phillies, are in the World Series, and game one is going on right now and as we speak. So I'm definitely going to have to hit up that game as I'm going to leave my office tonight. And appreciate you guys for tuning in. Another blessed night with all of you guys joining in. And let's start getting some older ladies. If some of you guys watching the show, I'd love for you to come on and tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong in anything that I'm saying, I'd love for you guys to come and join in the discussion and let me know and let the younger ladies know that if what I'm saying is wrong, hey, I'm here. Let me know. I'm open to any conversation. All right. All right, we got a lot of people in the waiting room. We're gonna close this one out. We've already did 2 hours, and we got a long 2-3 hour live stream coming tomorrow with the Kanye West Paris Morton interview. We're gonna jump off script a little bit. Then we'll get back to this on Monday, around 7 o'clock, around 7 p.m., 7 something, but around 7 p.m. Nightly, man. And we're gonna remain here on the IG, and now we're here on the YouTube through the StreamYard. Sometimes I'm gonna hook it up with the Zoom. So just keep that in mind, and make sure you guys go over to the YouTube Marion Africa and give me a subscribe on there, and hit the like button to whatever video that you punch up, and don't forget to sign up for mgdating.com. That's MG Dating, DATING, mgdating.com. Make sure you sign up. Make sure you get your profile up. Everything is 100% free. No credit cards needed. All you need is an email address, and that's it. Sign up, and you never know. You might meet the person of your dreams. Ladies, you might meet the man in whatever country, because we're running it through all countries. I forget how many countries in total, but I know it's almost just about every country on earth. So you can meet a man from anywhere, and men, you do the same, because you never know what's out there for you guys. That's all around the world. So go and make your profile on mgdating.com, courtesy of Marion Ghana Incorporated. And you guys, enjoy having you guys here. Have a wonderful night. And I think with that,